Hello. How you doing? So welcome to day 18. Can you hear my paper creaking? Yes, I have notes, pals. I have notes. As much as I like to freestyle these talks a little bit, I like to plan them quite detailed. And it really helps me focus. This is not something that I was going to mention actually, but actually, my goodness, how many times can I say that? Focusing on your overall plan and how things fit together is a really good exercise. So before I embarked on this Everyday May challenge, I really thought about where I wanted to take people and what was the journey. So that could be something really interesting to look at. And we'll be talking about that much more in day 19 tomorrow. Okay, day 18. What is your USP? I want you to write down what comes to mind. What words, phrases, thoughts, feelings, flavors, description words, adjectives, should I say, images, colors, what comes to mind in terms of your personal brand. I want you to think about your story, your flavor, the predictable things about you. And sometimes we can think about how these work negatively as well. You know, you might know somebody and it's like, oh, they've always got something going on, haven't they? Or I remember my friend describing somebody, as a strong flavour. And I absolutely love that, where I was like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. She is a strong flavour. Yes. Yes. And if you're not ready for it, it can be quite the shock. Let's just say that. But I want you to think in terms of your personal brand, what this is for you. Now, there's going to be many layers to this exercise. And what I want you to encourage you to do is to colour it in as much as possible. Here's what I mean by this. You might start with that nervousness, I guess, about making decisions. So you might just want to say, well, I'm a person in business and I want to help people and I want people to feel good. Good. Go deeper. What does this look like? How do they know they're doing it? What's happening? What kind of people do you want to help them feel good? What's the transformation? How long does it take? And I want you to think about this in real detail, because by doing this work, it will actually make your work better for you. And here's what I mean. There is that marketing phrase, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. And we know what it's like to be marketed to in that generic way. We have it on LinkedIn. I have it on LinkedIn all the time, where people are like, hi, you look like a mum. Why don't you join my webinar to help overwhelmed mums? And that might be on a day where I'm like, actually, mate, I've got everything together. Like those school uniforms, they're ironed, they're in the cupboard. The kitchen doesn't necessarily look like some kind of disaster. We've got a full fridge. I've ticked off the admin, maybe done a bit of exercise. Like they might catch me on that day. And also it's sometimes that sense of being lumped in with a load of other people where you're like, actually, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, the last thing I want to do is talk to everybody else about how overwhelmed I am. I'm looking for that solution. So I want you to think about what you're bringing to the party, what you're all about. And a second conversation around this is, why do you understand your customers? So here's how this could look. So I don't necessarily, and I hate this phrase as I'm saying it, I wouldn't brand myself, and no shade to anybody who would, but it's just not my word, as a mumpreneur. Even though I work with many mums who have small children, who have bigger children, who are thinking about having children. However, I have many other clients who don't have children. And even though I am a mum, and I guess that is part of my personal brand, because ultimately I have two little people that, you know, as much as I'd like to go, I was just meditating for 2 hours, it's probably not the case, because one of them needs to go to the toilet or be dressed, or they want their fourth breakfast of the day, even though it's 7 a.m. and there's all the things going on. However, there is a nuance to my story. There is a sense that I can understand different things. And here's what I mean. If I ever am in a cafe and I'm out walking And I don't know why, and maybe it's something that connects with me. It makes me really emotional saying this. So I might see like a woman in the corner of a cafe, and I can see it. She's been up all night, and her baby might be 6 months or something, and she's finally got this baby to sleep. And what she's managed to do is put her laptop in the change bag and to shove some clothes on, maybe wash her face if she's feeling wild, and sit down and have a cup of tea. And she's literally had that moment where she opens up her laptop and goes, wow, I might have 46 minutes here and I need to do what I need to do. And I see that woman and I connect with that woman because I was that woman. And so therefore, even though I'm not a mompreneur, even though I don't just work with mums, I have that feeling to my business because I am that person in my family that is strong, that is solid, that is somebody good to talk to, I guess. And I have throughout my life being that person that people come to. And I know a lot of secrets about a lot of people. I'm not saying that in a kind of salacious Piers Morgan way, but I know that I can be that person because I'm solid, and I can hold that space for people. And so being a mompreneur and an empath and really seeing people for what's going on, it makes me be better at my job in terms of my coaching. So that therefore, by making that decision, dictates or governs or shapes the way that I talk online. I talk in very much we can do that I understand. And there's a lot of conversation that I have about things being okay and permission and taking one step at a time, because that person who might be in that moment of like, I don't want to go back to my job, which I hate, but I'm not quite sure how to build this brand. Yes, she might be my customer. But if I'm talking to her and shouting at her and saying, you just need to get up earlier, yeah? You just need to batch cook, yeah? Or all these like random things that people say without really listening, I'm not actually talking to her. I'm not really assessing and understanding the circumstances. And actually, I'm being insensitive. I'm not really seeing what is actually going on. So, even though I've made decisions about my kids that actually I don't want them to be online the whole time, I don't want them to be part of campaigns. And actually, Matt and I are in an advert at the moment, and Oscar saw it live for the first time the other day. And he told us both, and he was like, there, you're there. And then he was like, can I have my toast now? And so it was a funny thing because he just wasn't, great that he saw it and he enjoyed it. But he, who we are at home is way more important than either of us being on the telly. It was short-lived, let's just say that. So that's day 18. As always, the details are in the description down below. Take some time to make some decisions. And remember, the decisions that you make today don't necessarily have to be your decisions for life. I've spoken about building your data. Start with something, see if it resonates, see if it connects, see if people go, oh, that's me. Oh, I want to find out more. See what's going on in there. And then that will give you information as to where you go next. Thank you always for being here and being part of this. And thank you for your commitment to this process. You've done 18 days, and I thank you so much for being part of it, because it does take discipline. It does take time, and you are doing the work and the rewards are on their way. If you want to book a free 15-minute session with me, you are more than welcome. As always, do apply in the description bar link, and I will see you tomorrow. Lots of love. Bye.